Okay. Can you all hear me? Okay. I usually bring a song, and I didn't today, and then I got so moved, Joyce, by how we liberate ourselves. We always liberate ourselves with song, and there's so many connections already happening. And the saying, I kind of carry an innocence, I guess, or a childlikeness. I look at my own hands, I'm like 25. I have farmer hands, I look like I'm 100. I'm older than my husband. But there's a song I love that came to me just now that has both of those, that maybe we could sing together. So I'll just sing the verse and then you sing after me. So it goes. I don't have my drum today. It's okay. The river, she is flowing. The river, she is flowing. Flowing and growing. Flowing and growing. The river, she is flowing down to the sea.
The river, she is flowing down to the sea.
Mother, carry me.
Mother, carry me.
Child, I will always be.
Child, I will always be.
Mother, carry me.
Mother, carry me.
A child, I will always be.
Child, I will always be.
So I'm thinking about that gorgeous meditation and just holding love in our hearts and how innocent that is. And that the wind was really coming through where we're sitting. And I think of this Native American term I love. It's a Lakota word called skan. And skan means what moves, moves. We don't even have a word like that. What moves, moves. So the wind is always moving. And so the prayer's always being carried. So our love's always being carried all the way to the Ukraine. Mm-hmm. So I just want to start with that. And then the second thing is, I was on a bike ride this morning, the magical Euphoric Valley, and I thought there was like a roadblock or something, and then I see there's a gaggle of turkeys. They're like 17 of this guy's, girlfriends. And he's out in the middle of the road. I'm laughing at the road less traveled, okay, because he's just like, strapping it big, and it's like, thank God I'm on the road less traveled right now, and I'm super sorry that on my little bicycle I disrupted the whole entire love performance. But that was a beautiful blessing for the morning. So the road less traveled, I picked this title because it's so familiar, and we all see that. And we know that poem, we probably have memorized it in high school. And we think, usually when we think of the road traveled, and it's like that great big highway that's all tread, and then the other one's maybe a kind of almost breaking trail thing. But I'm going to get to that. I want to start first with this paradox. This was a really hard topic for me, and I almost tossed it. It was one of those talks for forget it. And I have my husband over here, who's just an endless well of encouragement and love. And he was like, Lisa, this is important. You can do this. If anyone can do this, you can do this. And so the first thing I wanted to say is with the road less traveled, because it's a bold step, we always need love and encouragement from somebody. We need someone who has our back. And that's a huge thing to remember. And so I'm going to talk about this paradox, which is that spiritual journeys are radically solo. They're radically individual. But the paradox is that we're craving and seeking community to find find our spirit path. So how do you deal with that? And then there's kind of a double helix paradox on top of that, which is that once we get into community, we get lost in the form, the container, and we forget about our spirit path. So you go to a yoga or meditation or church, and we've all done this if you were church goers when you were little. And you get out the prayer book and you're reciting everything, and forgive us our sins if we trespass against one another. And you're saying really huge things, but it's not even registering in your soul. And so how do we do that when we lose meaning through repeated form? We're just going through the motions, and we're doing things out of rote. And we don't do things out of rote. We do things out of rote because we're trying to be good. We're trying to do what we're told. And so, and we do it because it's easy and it's comfortable. So this road most taken is the one we're all schooled to take. It's the one when we follow directions in school. It's when we want to do the right thing, we want to be accepted, we want to be part of something, and we want to be part of a bigger collective. So there's beauty in that. And we also come to places like today because we crave structure. We crave that sacred container place where we can feel safe and greeted, and there we can sink down, there we can get deeper into our spirit. But again, when we make that structure, we can get caught up in the protocol rather than the prayer. And I know we've all had that where you're in meditation and you're just like, am I sitting right? And do I have my fingers right? And am I to be able to do a whole hour? And my legs are falling asleep, or oh my gosh, I'm downward dog. I can't move my feet this way, or you're taking communion and you have your little wafer, and do you hold it, or do you put it in your mouth? And then oh my gosh, you get the wine. Oh, the crumb's gonna go in the wine. There are all kinds of little protocols that we worry about, and the form takes over the spirit. And the no's take over the spirit. No, don't do it that way. No, don't do it that way. All right, you're not doing it right. You're doing it wrong. Doing it this way. So then we have this road not taken, this very personal spiritual journey. So how do we honor the sacred container we're seeking and simultaneously have this radical, solo, beautiful connection with our own spirit? And obviously it's a leap of faith. And you have to be a lion, you have to have courage, and you have to jump. And no one can tell you how or when or where it's going to happen. There are no directions, and you have to have a few things in your pocket. You have to be a risk taker, to be willing to risk. You have to have an open mind. You have to have an open heart, wherever those two are. You have to have a sense of adventure. You have to have an ability to accept and an ability to accept whatever that new way or that transformation that's obviously going to come to you. So I'll tell you my little story of jumping out and taking the road less traveled. And I know some of you have heard this before, but it was a real life-changing experience of me when I had a monarch butterfly come to me down my cheek at a very intense Native American Sundance ceremony. and stay there for an hour or more, probably drying its wings while I'm getting dusted with huge eagle wing feathers in the healing round, and then meeting a woman from Costa Rica who's a moon dancer who says, we paint butterflies on our faces. The last night of the dance, and I'm flying to Mexico City to go to a moon dance for October Harvest Moon. I have no idea where I'm going. I don't know if some man's going to pick me up. His name's Fidel. He's going to be in a red jacket. And he was in a bullfighter red jacket, and he put me in a Fred Flintstone VW van that he was almost pedaling. There was almost no seats. And I ended up in a little tiny courtyard in the middle of Mexico City. Meet the beautiful woman of vision and handed a little stick to whittle, and end up out in the high desert nowhere outside Teotihuacan, the big sun moon pyramids and jaguar pyramid and butterfly pyramid. And for 4 nights I'm dancing with women and sweat lodging with women. And I try to imagine myself having done that by myself. Like, I just went out in the desert, and I danced by myself for 4 nights. And I jumped and got back up and danced. And, it wouldn't happen. I wouldn't have fallen in communal step of oneness to a drum with a circle of women I didn't even know, and we all fell into a beautiful synchronous pattern of oneness, of collective oneness under the moon that already links us all together with her cycle. So I think when you take this leap, well, the other thing that happens is, that we're afraid of ridicule, of course. And I just wanted to remind everyone what happened yesterday at Tiger Mountain Vineyards, where I am making and growing wine. And we had this wonderful singer, amazing singer. I think she was singing like Tennessee whiskey or something. And this woman got up, older woman in her 60s, and she was wearing her cute little tight black pants outfit, and she just got up. Everyone's sitting around, listening to music, drinking wine. And she got up and she just busted the moves, and she's moving her hips all over like a young sprite. And, the entire place was like, I had to go around the corner to see what's happening, because they're like, yeah, wow, they're all just having so much fun, and they're feeding her, and she gifted everyone. She brought everyone joy, because she was doing what everyone else wanted to do anyway, So that's the beauty, is when you see someone jump out, and we see someone in our community jump out on their spirit path, take the road less traveled, and we joy, we feed that, instead of doing what so often happens is, oh my gosh, what is she doing? We don't do that here. We don't dance at the winery. Excuse me.
We don't?
We don't dance at the, we're all sitting here calmly. Could you please, and that happens a lot, and it's so sad, because then we've just muffled and smothered a beautiful spirit. So I'm sending my prayer for you all is not only the courage, to have the courage and the endurance to take that path, but also the beautiful support of your community to take it. So Another reminder is that when we move into that communal place, that communal support, when we do meditate with others like we just did, or we do yoga with others, it can really feel so much more substantial. Because people's energy and thoughts we feel them. We feel them inside of us. And I like to call this use the horse metaphor. Because horses, when you get on a horse and you're really afraid, they can feel that. And they'll buck you or run with you sometimes. I've seen it. I was in Mexico with a man I'd been with for a long time, and he was afraid, and he got on the horse, and I grew up with horses, so I wasn't, and his horse was just taking on him and frisking one. I'm like, hey, let's just change horses. My horse is being so good. She's so sweet and calm, and we changed horses, and that horse was like freaking out and jumping and running. So a horse can feel a fly land on its skin. We can feel a fly land on our skin, and that's how sensitive we are all to each other's being. And so it's really nice to come together in this sacred moments and not feel dumbed down, using that term lightly, but by form, or by making sure we all have to be doing this thing and repeating it the same way. It's one of the things I just want to bless and celebrate this place, Wayfarers, because it's already on the road less traveled. Because every week we're not beat down by rote, because every week there's someone new in our community bringing a new voice, a new light, a new prayer, and we are already feeling that. We're already feeling that beauty, and it's liberating. We don't have to battle with getting through the rote stuff to get down to our deep connections with one another. I also want to celebrate our small numbers that allow us to see each other in the eye and greet each other with hugs and not be caught up in trying to manage so many, to structure to manage so many. So I'm blessing the church that way right now and giving thanks. So this road you take, just another reminder, it really could be like the big paved road. And it's so different for everyone. And you're on it, but you're whistling while everyone's singing, or you're walking backwards on that road while everyone's walking forward on that road. Or maybe you are taking that road that you can barely see. Is that the trail, or maybe you really are cutting trail? That part doesn't matter, because again, we're celebrating the individual solo journey that everyone's taking. So feel that courage, that effort inside yourself. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere, ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I'm going to hand everyone something because to follow up on the beautiful meditation. And it is a time of some big upheaval in our world. Strong man stuff going on. And we have these beautiful, wonderful people whose lives and homes are being taken in the Ukraine. I'd like to share this prayer, which ironically is about love again. And it's from Corinthians And it's kind of from that old songbook kind of feeling. But I thought we could all say it together. And I have about 11 copies, so if we could share. Here, I'll take one. Sometimes I think this is the most beautiful thing that was ever written in the world.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, this one always gets me. Ruth, do you have something to say? Okay. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I have become sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, but have not love, it profits me nothing. Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, is not provoked, thinks no evil, does not rejoice in inequity, but rejoices in the truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. And now abide in faith, hope, and love. These three, the greatest of these is love.